Microphone check, 1, 2. In the place to be. Bloop. Go ahead and drag and drop two routers. Router A, router B. Cable it up with a serial cable if you got one. If you're using even G, GNS3. Packet tracer. Whatever floats your boat. Y'all know what it is. I'm going to go ahead and give it some time for some people to go ahead and fire up their emulators, simulators, lions and tigers and bears. Oh my, it's your boy, the NetworkBruh. Back with another live stream. It's episode number what? We on episode number 80 today. 80 episodes deep. Who'd have thought, man, I'd be live streaming like this, man. You know, when I first started this channel and stuff like that, I was like, man, I don't know how people do this live streaming, man, because I'm like, it took me a little bit of time just to get my little videos I was doing. All those jump cuts and jump edits that I was doing. It's all good though, man. Started streaming this year once I learned how to even use the stream feature. You gotta have like a certain amount of subs before you could actually live stream and stuff. So shout out to Creed9 in the building. What's going on, bruh? I hope you got Packet Tracer or even G or whatever you are using to follow along with this lab. But this is the lab guide we use if this is the first time you're tuned in. 101 Labs, Cisco CCNA version 4. You can get a copy of this from 101labs.net. That's their website. There's also a link in the description box below. It'll take you to Amazon, so you can get the book from there. That isn't an affiliate link, so I do get commission if you get it from there. So I ain't gonna be mad at you for wherever you get it from, as long as you get the book, so that way you can follow along and do this stuff hands on along with us. You know what I mean? It's great for me to just teach it, but for you to really receive the information, you're more likely to process it better as you're doing it hands-on along with me. You know what I mean? Because experts agree that we retain only 10% of what we read, but 90% of what we do. So that's why I'm always preaching hands-on and stuff like that. Not just because I want you guys to do it, but I want you guys to learn this stuff along with me, man. I was gonna pull up a little bit see what's going on in the network world before we start streaming and stuff like that. Oops. I'll give us some time for some late stragglers to come into class and stuff like that. What are you guys using? Are you using I know a lot of you guys are using even G. I'm using actual hardware. I'm using real routers and switches. All right. So I got two 1841 routers. Let's see. Let's verify. Show version. I have I keep forgetting what the models they are. They are 1841s. Yeah, 1841 routers. You know, pretty old model, but does a lot what we needed to do. It's an updated version of iOS, as you can see, version 15.1. Two major internet outages disrupted a relatively quiet week last week. Verizon Business and Cogent Communications both experienced outages on the same day, affecting multiple customers in multiple locations. Yeah, ISPs had a rough week last week, didn't they? It's all good though. What else we got going on here? Too old for Snapchat, too young for Life Alert. Seriously, man. Let me pull this up. See what they got going on. Let's see. We got Brendan. Yeah, Brandon's using real hardware as well. Shout out to Brendan, man. At least I'm not the only old school, the old fogey. Back in my day, we used real hardware when we were labbing. Yeah, so at least somebody else is along there with me, man. Man, appreciate that though. Trying to see what else we got going on in the network world here. Other than this outage, I know we got some kind of good news. The Biden administration needs to appoint a 5th FCC commissioner who support Title II protections and will work to reinstate net neutrality. The commission is deadlocked until they do. Y'all remember that net neutrality shit that they was trying to get us to do? Where they're gonna start charging people for using Facebook and Instagram. Oh Lord, man, if they imagine they did that shit, man. I didn't even know that was still in talks of them trying to. That's like them, man. They really trying to take our rights away with that damn net neutrality, man. Anybody keep up with that? I remember that it was really starting to take off about 2 years ago, and then that shit just kind of died off, man. I don't know what happened. Let's see what's the latest on net neutrality. I don't see much about it. I guess I need to read a little bit more. No, we'll see. Kevin H is using GNS3. Okay, good. That's what's up. I like GNS3. I ain't gonna lie. I've been using GNS3 when I used to do my tutorials. I did a couple live streams, but y'all see, every time I use even G, I don't really have great luck with it. I mean, it works and everything, but I still had to get used to it. I guess we'll get started. We have Brendan using his hardware. Kevin's using GNS3. I don't know what the rest of you guys are using, but today we are doing challenge lab number 15, Single-Area OSPF. So this is pretty similar to what we did yesterday, but remember yesterday we did EIGRP. We actually had a third router, right? And then we put these two in one EIGRP AS. And then we put these two in another EIGRP AS, right? Today we're working with another routing protocol, OSPF, which stands for Open Shortest Path First. It is a vendor-neutral routing protocol. We can use it basically on any vendor. You can with EIGRP as well, but EIGRP was developed by Cisco. It is now open source though, so I want to say as of 2013. I don't know. Don't quote me on. Don't correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's 2013 is when they made it an open standard. So today we're working with OSPF. We're going to put these guys together in an OSPF, participating in the same OSPF process, right? OSPF does not work with autonomous systems like EIGRP. They work with areas. So in this book, in this book, they're going to ask us to put OSPF in a single area. You can work with multiple areas, but you're going to, with this lab, we're going to work with a single area. So we're going to put these two guys in one area. Anybody know what that first area is typically called in OSPF? That's your pop quiz for today. The first area that we create. He's going to say in task number 2, if you got the book already, you'll know the answer to this, I guess, in a way. But he's going to say what number area we're going to use for this. Right, because it works with areas, not with autonomous systems in the OSPF. What is that first area known as? Right. So let's go ahead and get started. Configure the topology above. You should be able to ping across the serial interface only because there are no routes, no routes to the loopbacks. So basically, notice we got these floating numbers and shit on the side over here. we got this physical interface, right? Remember, this is a serial cable that I got between the two routers. We're going to configure this interface. That's serial, mine is serial 000. Same thing with this physical interface. Then we got these loopbacks that are floating over here, right? They just kind of like they're virtual interfaces, right? So this guy's a virtual interface as well. That guy's a virtual interface as well. It's a loopback, right? Loopback 0 and loopback 1 on both sides, right? So typically, since that there's a cable between these two routers right here, that router should be able to reach that guy once we do the IP addressing, right? But he won't be able to reach these loopbacks right here. Why is that? Because he don't have any knowledge to them. We're going to use OSPF to share those routes and then get that going, right? We got Anderson Tech Repair in the building. Appreciate you for tuning in, Anderson Tech Repair. I hope you got your application started because we're about to get started as well. Brandon got it correct. Area 0. It is known as the backbone area. So area 0. We're going to configure that in task 2, I believe. So let's go ahead and start with the IP addressing of these interfaces here. We're going to do this physical interface here, and then the loopbacks on router A. So I'm going to go to router A. I got him named as router 1 here, so but I'll change it anyway, just in case somebody don't know how to change the host name, right? You go to global config mode, then you type in host name, router. If you could type ROUTERA. So now he's named. He was changed from router 1 to router A, right? Simple task, simple enough, right? Now we got to do an interface. So interface serial 000. Give that IP address of what? 10.0.0.1. Right, 10.0.0.1. Subnet mask of /24.0. We're going to no shut that bad boy. That's going to bring it up, right? So that'll bring him up. Boop. See that little message there? But notice it says it changed to down. So he's still down, right? Why? Because that guy on this side is down. This guy is down. Once he is up, then that guy will turn up as well. So right now he is down. I hate that little. I hate paint. Sometimes I love hating paint. I don't know. Y'all know I like doing my little annotations and stuff, right? So let's do these loopbacks right here. This loopback and that loopback, right? Interface loopback 0. Give him the IP address of 192.168. Oops, 168.1.1 /28 subnet is 240, right? Yes. And then interface loopback loopback 1. His IP address is 192.168.2.1. Subnet mask of /27 is .224, right? Show our work with show protocols. I like that command. Normally when you're, learning this stuff, they teach you show IP interface brief till your face turns blue. Show protocols is one that I did not learn in the CCNA. And shout out to Pete S if you're still in the chat room over there. He the one that kind of put me onto that right there, and he got that through some white papers. That's why I always tell you guys, don't rely just on the official cert guide. They don't tell you everything. They give you enough just to pass the exam. So we did the physical interface correctly, 10.0.0.1.24. The loopback 0, which is this guy right there, right? 192.168.1.1, and the other one is 192.168.2.1 /27, right? I like to check my work in the middle of it, so that way we don't fat finger it, right? And then something don't work. We got to do some troubleshooting. I haven't done that in a while, right? Where we get stuck in troubleshooting only to find a typo, right? So why we like to check our work in the middle of our work, right? Go to global config mode, interface serial 000, right? Remember, your interfaces might be different. Mine is serial 000, even though his says serial 00. IP address of 10.0.0.2. Subnet mask of /24. Anybody got any questions or anything like that? Let me know. Now that one is coming up, right? It should come up. It should come up, and then theoretically the other one should come up as well now, right? See, it went from up, and then it says line protocol up down is now up, right? We go to the other side, we should get a syslog message as well, boop, and now it is up, right? So if I do show protocols again, you'll see it is up, where it was last time. It was down, right? So remember, this is layer 1, that's layer 2, right? So now let's do this loopback and that loopback, and then we should be done with task 1, right? Simple enough, right? Simple enough. We should come up. We need to learn we need some Python skills or some kind of scripting, so that way we can do all this shit automated, right? And get to what we need to do, OSPF. But we're sitting here doing some goddamn simple IP addressing, but it is what it is, right? You got to know what the hell you're automating before you automate it, right? IP address is 172.16.1.1/20, which is 240.0.0, right? Yes, I think it should be. Loopback 1 is IP address is 172.20.1.1/22 is 252.0. Oops. Y'all want me that like button? Make sure y'all subscribe. And also, in case I cancel a stream, which I rarely ever do, because y'all know I show up to work every day. I say like work like it's my job and shit. That is the Discord server. In case I do typically stream, I stream Monday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right? And then sometimes I'll like do a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday if I ain't got shit to do, and I'll just let you guys know in the Discord server. But my schedule for streaming is right there on the banner. You'll see it. Monday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But any bonus labs or anything like that, or like Freestyle Fridays we might do, I'll let you know in the Discord server. So make sure y'all join that. So we did all the IP addressing. That was task 1. He also said that you should be able to ping across the serial interface only because there's no loopback. So like I said at the beginning of the stream, we should be able to theoretically ping from here. Oop, I like you, Black. From here to there. Right, we should be able to ping from there to there, right? But when we try to ping from here and also here, right, those guys should fail because why? We don't have routes to them. This will work because we're physically connected to it, right? We got a cable going from there to there, just like yesterday, just like yesterday's lab when we did EIGRP, right? So now he's gonna learn about these routes using what? OSPF, you guessed it. So I'm gonna go to router A, right? I'm going to go ahead and ping the other side, right? Ping 10.0.0.2. Get on our knees, pray to the network guys, press enter, and we got to reply. Good. So theoretically, we should be able to ping the other side too. I ain't going to do it. Well, I'll go ahead and do it just for simplicity, right? So, or completion rather. Ping. Jesus Christ. Let me just go ahead and type it out, right? Stop being lazy. 10.0.0.1, right? Boom. It works, right? So, okay. Now, what else they said? Task number 2. We only got 3 tasks for this lab. We should be able to knock this out in less than 10 minutes, right? Configure single area OSPF on both routers. Great. Put all networks into area 0, which is what my man Brendan said. Set the router ID for router A to 1.1.1.1 and router B to 2.2.2.2. Ping all networks to check connectivity and check the routing tables. Let's check the routing table first, so that way y'all can see what it looked like when you only know about connected routes. And then what happens when you start learning about routes using a routing protocol, right? So I'm on router A, right? I know it says 1 there, but it's router A, okay? I'm using hardware, all right? Show IP routes. Let's see. What does router A, what does he actually know about, right? Question mark there, right? I wish I could draw the Joker there. He knows about disconnected route right here. Oh, shit. What happened there? Oh, okay, that's right. Did I not reboot this shit? I'm pretty sure I did. Because he already know about him now. That's weird. Oh, you know what? I think that is because the 0011. Hold on now. Because he should know, theoretically, he should not be knowing about these routes. Oh, that's why. Let me see, 172. That guy's 172. And then, hold on, let me see. I did something wrong here. Not something wrong, but he know about some other routes. I don't think I rebooted that guy. Because I was doing some work on here. And let me make sure. I did. I sure did. I hope I didn't save it though. Let's see. Real quick. Spoiler alert. Because I did run some no? That's weird. That's really weird. Oh, because yeah, these are the router 1. Oh, you know what? I think that is wrong. Let me see. That's what it is. I'm glad we check our work here. So router A's loopback 0 should be 192, right? And then router B's, I probably did those backwards. Let's see. Because he only know about the 10 network. Let's see what he got. So run. Let's see. I didn't put any loopbacks on there. I was putting all the loopbacks on router 1. That's what happened. You see there? All right. Let me fix those, and then we'll see. I hope y'all see what happened there, right? I did all of these loopbacks and put them all on this router right here, right? See, this is why, like, live streaming, so now y'all can see how I can fix this, right? Let's do this. Router A's loopback 0 was actually 192.168.1.28.240. I'm sorry, 240. His IP address. And then same thing with loopback 1. Good thing we checked that routing table first, right? So IP address is 192.168. We got the network in the building, 2.1/27, which is 255.224, right? I hope y'all did it correctly and didn't follow me exactly to a T, right? And was wondering, why is he putting all the loopbacks on router A? Professor Blackops with the stig of the day. The router must enable authentication for all OSPF peers. Okay, that's good to know, okay. A rogue router could send fictitious routing update to convince a site's perimeter router to send incorrect destination. That is interesting. So when you guys do these stick checks, they have to have authentication. When I worked at the hospital system, they had authentication with EIGRP. I worked for another organization and they did not have authentication for EIGRP. So I guess one would have failed the sticks check and the other would not fail the sticks check, right? That's good to know though, man. I like these stigs of the day. I'm starting to learn a little bit more about it. Shout out to Keep It Techie, Josh at Keep It Techie. Y'all enjoy his channel as well. They were doing a little bit of talk about stigs over there, and they weren't trolling you, Mr. Professor Black Ops, but they was like, man, we know this guy is a Stigs fanboy over there, but Jesus, man, this phone, I need to get a new phone, y'all. Okay, so let me finish with those loopbacks, and then we'll get to working here, right? Let me make sure, show IP interface brief, make sure that those are correct, right? So now he know about the 192.168.2.1, and if we look at this guy, right, if I would have checked show IP interface brief, I would have seen that I was doing the loopbacks on the other router and not this router. So y'all see that, right? This 10.2, right? So I did that. I did this, but I did not do these guys right here. I did not do these guys. So I need to do those now, right? I was doing them on the other router, I guess. Loopback 0, his IP address is 172.16.1.1/20, which is 240.0, right? And the other guy is interface loopback. Y'all see what I'm doing, right? Unless y'all caught me doing it and y'all just like, look at this motherfucker, man, putting the damn all the loopbacks on one router. Let's see how long before he catches that mistake there. IP address. I know some of y'all in here probably thinking that, but some of y'all might have missed that. 20.1.1/22 is 255.255.240.252.0, right? Show IP interface brief. I guess that is why they teach us that command. 16.1.1, 21.1, and to verify that. Only reason why I don't like the only reason I don't really like show IP interface brief is because they don't show us the subnet mask. That's why I like show protocols. However, I probably would have caught that mistake earlier if I would have done show IP interface brief. So I guess it's a gift and a curse. So it's up. We got /20 subnet and /22 subnet. All right, we good to go now. So now let's take a look at router 1's routing table, right? Show IP interface brief. I'm sorry, show IP routes. And he only know about the 192 networks and the 10 networks. Where's that? This is the 10 network, right? This is the 10 network right here. And then this is the 192 network. 192.168.1.1 and 192.168.2.0 network, right? So 1.1.0 network, 2.0 network, right? You with me so far? We go to this guy. He should know only about the 10 network, right? And the 172.16.1 network and 172.20.1.0 network, right? So we do show IP route, and we'll see he know about 172.16 network, right? There's the 10 network right there, right? And then 172.20.0 network, which is this one right here, right? Now we so far, right? C's are the connected networks. L's are pretty much the interfaces that we configured, right? So that is 10.0.0.2, and then actual hosts, right? Or actual interfaces that we configure, right? I was there. I love it. Yeah, man. That's what's up. Okay, so Now it says put all networks into area 0. We got to configure OSPF. What we came to do, right? 25 minutes into the damn stream. But then again, I was kind of looking over some current events and stuff, right? So go to global config mode. We turn on OSPF with router OSPF, right? We question mark for context sensitive help. We'll see we got to put a process ID. Whereas with EIGRP, we had to do router EIGRP and then an AS number. We could also do name mode, but that's not really covered in CCNA, I don't think. But we'd work with AS numbers, autonomous systems numbers, with EIGRP, and those got to match. But with OSPF, we work with process IDs. They ain't got to match. So we can have router OSPF 10 on one router and router OSPF 20 on the other router, and they can still go and become neighbors. So they ain't got to match. EIGRP, that number right there, that end has to match, right? So we don't say router OSPF, don't let me put EIGRP there. I'm going to put it in router OSPF 500, right? And if y'all want me to mismatch it, we'll do that. That puts you in the router config mode, right? Now we can work with the network statement. We can say, put in a network 10.0, which I already looked at the solution. They did it differently on how I did it, right? Because sometimes I'll do a practice run just to make sure I know what the hell I'm talking about. You can put in network statements to match this network, and that network, right? That way it puts all those interfaces in the network, right? I mean, in the to participate in OSPF. Remember, we don't put routers in OSPF. We put specific interfaces to participate in OSPF. So this router right here has that interface. Then he has that loopback interface and that other loopback interface, right? Pointing to those right there, right? Right? Y'all with me so far? Right? That interface right there, right? And then, so we got 3 interfaces that we need to put in OSPF. That one falls in the 192.168.1.0 network. And this one falls in the 192.168.2.0 network, right? Now, we can put network statements, and this one right here is obviously the 10.0 network. We can put network statements for all 3 of these, or there's a way to kind of put a blanket network statement that's going to encompass all of the networks. And that's how I did it. I did it like that, and then when I looked at the solution guide, I was like, oh, he did it for all individual ones, right? I'll show you that trick. The way you do that is you put in quad 0. So first you got to do the network statement. That's what we do with EIGRP and OSPF. And then you do quad 0, right? This is kind of like the default route. Remember we did IP route and then quad 0? But with the wildcard bits, we don't care what the number is. We're just saying, just have all of our interfaces participate in OSPF when we do this. So remember the wildcard bits is the subnet mask minus the, 255 minus the subnet mask, but we're not going to do it this way. We're going to just put 255.255.255.255. When you do it this way, you're going to put every interface on this router to participate in OSPF. That's what we're doing. So we're going to put that participate in OSPF, this participate in OSPF, and that participate in OSPF. That makes sense? Y'all have any questions or anything like that? Let me know. Y'all kind of quiet over there. I see Professor Black Ops with the stick of the day. That's all I see. But y'all make sure y'all remember that like button, man. Don't be embarrassed to ask any questions. You know, I'll try to answer. If I can't answer it, there's a lot of smart people in there. We got a cybersecurity person in there. I got some moderators in there. If I can't get to the chat room real quick, there's a lot of people that can answer it, right? Or if you want, just hit me up in the Discord server and just send me a DM and be like, hey, man, what's the IP address? You know what I mean? It doesn't matter how simple the question is. I'll go over it. So after we do that network statement, we got to say the area, right? I'll question mark and I'll show you. It says right there, area, right? So we type in area, and then we have to put in the area number. Like Brendan said, you put in 0 for the backbone network. So, and plus that's what they asked us to do, right? It says put all networks into area 0. And this is how we do it. We do the network statement, the blanket network statement, which is like this, and then area 0, right? I'll probably do the other side differently so that way y'all can see how he did it in the book. But this is how I did it. So that way it covers all 3 interfaces on this router. That interface, this interface, and that interface, right? So we put that in area 0. We sit here and wait, right? Nothing's going to happen. Why? Because we put these interfaces in OSPF. That's it. We don't have any neighbors. We got to do the same thing on this side for them to become neighbors and see a happy face like this right here, like my daughter would do. And then they'll be able to share routes like that with his crooked teeth and his arrows, right? There's a nose right there. There you go. So we got the network statement. if we do, let's run a couple show commands before we go to the other side, right? Do show IP protocols, right? That'll let you know what routing protocols you're running on this router, right? Show IP, you gotta actually type it out. What the fuck? Show IP protocols. All right, now I'm glad we did this first too, because they said something here. When they said put all networks in area 0, and then he said set the router ID for router A to 1.1.1.1. One thing to take note is that when you put a router in OSPF, or its interfaces in OSPF, and you put a process and turn it on, right, it picks a router ID. So that way it knows when it participates in OSPF and you saying hi to your OSPF neighbor, hey OSPF neighbor, because it sends hello packets, right? And he says my router ID is blah, blah, blah. That's his identifier. Well, guess what? When we did show IP protocols, it says my identifier is 192.168.2.1. Who gave this motherfucker the audacity to give him that router ID? Well, why? There is a rule that says to pick the loopback with the highest IP address. That will be your router ID. That's the first thing you'll look for. So when we look at this router right here, we have this IP address that was configured, right? It was 10.0.0.1, right? Then we have this loopback, and then this loopback, right? Let me get rid of all this so y'all can see, right? This is how he picks his router ID. The process is pick the highest loopback, right? We have a physical interface, but we want to go with the loopback. Well, which one has the higher IP address? This is 192.168.1.1. Okay, that's pretty high. We go to this one, it's 192.168.2.1. Okay, this is a higher IP address. This looks like a great candidate for router ID. Well, we do have a physical interface, but we don't go with that. We go with that if we don't have any loopbacks. We don't have any loopbacks? Okay, fine. Then we'll go with the physical interface and say, that is my router ID. But that's not the case in this case. We pick the highest loopback address first. Remember that rule, right? And that's how I came up with this. But we want to change that because why? Because Paul Browning asked us to change it, for one. And two, you don't always want to go with, for security reasons, you don't always want to go with what the router picks automatically, right? We don't go with defaults, right? Because we're network administrators and network engineers. We always change the defaults. Go to global config mode, we say, we go back to the routing process, right? And this process was what? It was 500, right? So same thing, router, oops, you got to actually spell router right to do that. Router, OSPF 500, then simple enough, router ID. And then from there, you change it. You do 1.1.1.1. I want to show you something though, right? You press enter, right? I do show IP protocols again. Oh, I guess it did do that time. I think it's because if you were, damn, I wanted to show y'all something, but I thought it wouldn't have changed it. I think on the other router I should be able to. Typically, you have to reset the routing process for that to take effect. But I think it's because he don't have any neighbors. That's why it took it already. But that's good. We wanted to change it, right? It's like we went to the government office and changed our name. What else we want to do here? We got to do the same thing on the other side. So if you follow that process, I hope you did that already on the other side, right? On router B. If not, then follow along and you'll be able to see it again. And I'll do it without talking so much, right? Well, config mode, router, OSPF. Instead of 500, I'm going to do 1,000, right? Just to show you it don't got to match, right? OSPF 1000. We said network quad 0 to blanket all interfaces. This one and this one. Look at me talking, right? Right? 255 area 0. Oops, 0 percenter. We should theoretically have a neighbor. There it is right there. Process ID 1000. We have a neighbor by the router ID of 1.1.1, right? We changed from loading to full. There's a process. I'm not going to go over that. I did that in another video, but maybe when we get into more, when we get to the CCNP level, I'll start going in more a deep dive with OSPF, what do you call it? The states for OSPF, right? So now let's go back to this guy right here, and you'll see he also got a syslog message that said, hey, we got a neighbor. He got a router ID of 172.20.1.1. Y'all remember how he got that? How did this neighbor get that as his router ID? Well, like I said, the highest loopback address. This loopback address is what? 172.16.1.1. This one is 172.20.1.1. Okay, that is a higher IP address. Let's go with that. We do have a physical one, right? But no, we go with the highest loopback first. If a loopback's not available, then we go with our physical interface. And if that's not available, I don't know what the hell it does. You can't even participate in OSPF because you ain't got no IP addresses. What the fuck? So let's see more information about our neighbors. Let's do show IP protocols real quick. My router ID, this is from his vantage point, right? Router A. My router ID is 1.1.1. We're routing for these networks. This is a router information source. That is, so when I'm learning routes, I'm going to be learning it, OSPF routes. I'm getting routes from that guy. What's his router ID? 172.20.1.1, right? Administrative distance by default for E80 is, for OSPF is 110. You got any questions so far? Or am I losing anybody or anything? Y'all let me know. What else can we say about this? That's pretty much it. We could do show IP OSPF neighbor to get, you know, just like a summary information about the neighbors. We have only one neighbor. That's his neighbor ID, right? This right here, right? That's the neighbor ID. Oops. 172.20.1.1. We went from loading to full, right? The dead timer, that's when we consider him dead. Remember, we say hello every, I believe it's every 3 seconds, if I'm not mistaken. No, it's every 4 seconds. Take that back. 4 times the hello, 40. So every 10 seconds. We say hello every 10 seconds. And then we consider our neighbor dead if we haven't heard from them 4 times the hello. So by default, we say hello every 10 seconds, and we consider him dead after 40 seconds, right? Address 10.0.0.2. That is the interface we learned it from. So we learned that route information from this IP address, right? I mean that interface right there, right? What else we got? That's the interface that we learned it from, right? 0.0.0.0. That right there. We go to the other side, so I'm gonna go to this router and we'll see what he got, right? We do show IP OSPF neighbor and compare that. My neighbor is 1.1.1.1, right? That's this guy. He is now 1.1.1.1. Same thing. We learned it from 10.0.0.1. No, my bad. What the hell? Let me see. Oh yeah. Okay, so 10.0.0.2 is actually that right there. My bad. That's where he. That's the neighbors interface. If that make any sense, right? So that's that one. That's that two, right? Right. Yeah, with me? See that? What else we wanted to say? Here's the other thing. Don't forget. Remember, we changed the router ID on this guy, right? We changed him and made him. We made him 1.1.1.1. This guy needed to be 2.2.2.2, right? Because we couldn't think of a more creative IP address. And let's see. What is his again? Show IP protocols. So I'm on router B and see what his again is. Protocols. My router ID is that. The book said to change it to 2.2.2.2. Let's do that. Go to global config mode. Go back to the routing process. Router. Oops. OSPF. What do you say? 5,000? 1,000. I'm glad I looked that up first. 1,000, right? And then we're going to change the router ID to 2.2.2.2. Press enter. And this is what I was looking for last time. Reload. So I got to reboot the router or use clear IP OSPF process for this to take effect. So I was able to change the router ID last time. But now it's saying, hey, I got a neighbor. Before we change the router ID, you need to reload this router, reboot it basically, or you could just do kind of like a soft reset of the OSPF process by typing in clear IP OSPF process. That clears all the processes, or you can pick a specific process, and I'll show you real quick, right? Because now, even though I said, hey, the router ID is 2.2.2.2.2, we just show IP protocols, we'll see he's still 172.20.1.1. And that's what I was trying to do on the other router, right? So let's do this. I'm not going to reboot the whole damn router and have y'all wait for 5 to 10 minutes through this live stream. We'll do a soft reset, right? So we do clear IP OSPF with question mark. You'll see you could either do it by the process ID number, or if you just do process, that'll, because we can have more than one OSPF process on the router and reset all of the processes. I'm going to pick the specific one. It was 1,000, and then you actually got to put in a keyword process at the end. I don't know why they back backwards like that, right? Press enter, and it says, hey, you sure you want to reset this OSPF process? Because we have a neighbor right now, and he's learning routes from us. That's why they give us a little warning here. You can press enter and click no for default, right? Or you actually type in yes. Boom. This is going to tear down the neighbor relationship and then bring it back up. As you can see right there. You see it says down, interface down or detached, and then it came right back up. So basically OSPF bounced. And I'll show you the process real quick, right? Not the full process, but I'll just show you just the quick. See? It went from full to down, right? I'll pull up a white paper now and I'll show y'all the statements. I mean the states, right? So it went from full to down, and then it went from loading to full, right? The full is that's when they become fully adjacent and they become neighbors, right? Loading done. So now let's run that show IP protocols again. Take a look at his ID, and now he's 2.2.2.2, and that's what they asked us to do, right? Now finally we're gonna ping across from the loopbacks and then call it a night, I believe. Yeah, because I think that's the only lab we're gonna do tonight. And then if I got time tomorrow to do Freestyle Friday, we'll cover all of these topics and just kind of, you know, mix and match them. We're gonna make a smorgasbord of topics. We went over OSPF this week. We went over DHCP. We did some interVLAN routing. We're gonna mix them all up, man. Just come up with a whole bunch of devices and just mix all those topologies up. See how they interact with each other and stuff, right? He said ping all networks to check connectivity and check the routing tables, right? Remember what the routing table looked like before? We only knew about the networks that were directly connected to us, right? I'll show you real quick because I can't do it again. This is how it looked like. So from router A's perspective, right? He only knew about the 10 network, the 192 networks, and that was it. He ain't know about these networks right here. Why? Because he ain't have routes to them, right? There they go, right there. The 10 network, the 192.168.1.0 network, and 192.168.2.0 network. He don't know anything about these networks right here. It's like Timbuktu to him. They're foreign countries to him, right? Let's see. He ain't been past downtown. Now, same thing with router B. He know about the 10 network because it's directly connected to him. There's a physical cable connected to him, and that's how he know about that network. And he know about this loopback and this loopback, but he don't know about this loopback and this loopback, right? Why? Because they're remote networks that sit behind that router over there. I'll even show you, right? Well, I can't show you because now he do know about them because I put him in OSPF. But let's see. Did we run that command before over here? Let's see. I can't remember if we did not. Yes, we did. See, he only knew about the 10 network and the 172.16 network and 172.20. So 172.20 or 172.16, 172.20, and he knew about the 10 network, right? Because there's a cable between them, right? So now we run show IP protocol or show IP route on both routers. We'll see from router 1. We're going to go to router 1. We'll see if he know about this route, this network, and that network. We should show IP route. And there they go. The way you know is because these little O's right here that let us know he learned it via OSPF, right? So he know about the 172.16.1.1 network, this one right here, via OSPF, and that one via OSPF. The administrative distance is 110 by default. The metric is 65 on both, and he learned it via 10.0.0.2. Who's that? That's this interface right here. That's how he learned about those routes over there, right? That make any sense? What he said. Hey, honestly, routing protocol authentication is really just to prevent accidents there. If an attacker is able to interject routes and mess with your routing, you quite frankly have larger issues other than significant attack vectors than that. In other words, if you have OSPF enabled on user-facing, non-physically secured interfaces, or worse, someone has access to secured interfaces, you likely have worse security vulnerabilities. If you're that careless in one way or another. Yeah, that's why we try to do background checks on the people that we hire and shit, right? For them to know all of that and inject routes into our damn network. But yeah, we definitely would have bigger problems on our hand if they can just inject routes in our network like that. So he know about those routes. Same thing with router 2, right? Before he only knew about these routes. We do show IP route again, and we'll see. We now have some. Let's see. We got some OSPF routes. No, we don't. Yes, we do. What am I doing? They're at the bottom for some reason. I guess because they're they're numerical. 10, 172.16, 172.20, and then the 192 networks at the bottom. So he learned about the OSPF networks. Oops. Right here. Let's see if we could ping across and then call it a night, right? So router A, he was able to ping here, right? That was good to go. Right? That was good to go. Now let's see if he can finally ping those loopbacks right here. This loopback and that loopback over there. Theoretically, they should because we have routes to them, right? Let's go to router 1 and do that. Pray to the network gods. We did 10.0.0.2, right? That was the local network. the serial cable, right? This guy right here. Bloop. Now let's try to do this one right over here. And the other one, ping 172.16.1.1. Get on our knees, pray to the network guys, press enter. We got to reply. Do the same thing on 20.1.1. We got to reply. Good to go. Now let's do the same thing. Most likely we'll be able to, well, that's not bidirectional, not just yet. We're going to try to see if we can ping. We know we can ping from here to here, right? Let's just see if we can ping from here to there and from here to there, right? And most likely we should go to router B and ping 192.168.1.1. We got to reply, and then 2.1. We got to reply. Good to go. Next time you want to follow along, I think that was pretty much it. Get you a copy of this book, 101 Labs Cisco CCNA version 4. There's a link in the description box below. It is an affiliate link, so I do get commission if you click it from there. Or you can go to their website, 101labs.net, and get a copy of it from there. It's just that on Amazon, it's a little quicker. If you got Amazon Prime and stuff like that, have it shipped right to your door box or to your doorstep. Experts agree that we retain only 10% of what we read, but 90% of what we do. Perhaps this explains why the global pass rate for most IT exams is a ghastly 40%. This is where the 101 Lab series book can help. They also have a CCNP book because we almost wrapped this up. We pretty much, that was all the challenge labs actually. Challenge lab number 15 was the last one. So now we only have labs, bonus labs is what he called it. Labs A through, it's labs A through G. And then there's two appendices. Appendix A and Appendix B, which I'm not going to do because they're frame relay. That's not on the exam no more, and that's going by the wayside. So we're going to do labs A through G, call it. We're done with this book, and then we're going to move on to the CCNP level. Like I said, I do have a study guide that I'm sharing with you guys. I'm going to be studying for the Encore exam, as well as the NRC exam. I'm going to be studying from the CCNP book version of this book. Also, there's 2 lab manuals that I want to purchase and start doing labs from that book. We're going to be doing some Boss on NetSim. When I get to 5,000 subscribers, I'm going to be doing a huge giveaway and giving all that stuff. Like I said, I'm in talks with the marketing manager, and they have some ideas for us, or for me rather, to kind of give that stuff away. Also, I need to take out my popcorn suit. Yes, you do, man. You're going to watch us go through that, man, and fumble through it, man. But yes, we're going to get through it, man. We have you by our side to help us out, and you help us out. So, not only that, just put on your thinking caps, man. So y'all know that this is going to be a lot more difficult topologies, a lot more, how do I say? Yeah, subjects that are going to be introduced to us. Remember yesterday we did redistribution, and I was just like, he wouldn't put this in his book. That's more of a CCNP topic. Well, boom, he sprinkled into it a little bit because it was a challenge lab, and it's towards the end of this book to kind of let us know, hey, listen, there's some more shit that you're going to learn, man. Like, you're going to learn today. So, y'all make sure y'all join that Discord server. Here is a link and invite to it. Thank you, bruh, for all this knowledge. I have practiced a lot with these sessions. Man, I appreciate it, man. And doing these live streams, it kind of holds me accountable, too, because I haven't really labbed like this a lot on my own. So, it really helps out when I have you guys ask questions and stuff like that. And it forces me to be, like, trying to remember these little things or these little, concepts and stuff like that. And plus, when I'm doing it over and over again, it sticks to my head. So I hope you guys did it along with me. If not, I stream Monday to Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'll get you to make sure you're live with us. So for now, comment, like, subscribe to the network.